Nstudio Digital.
You got my number, right?
No, I got it.
Nstudio Networks.
Nstudio Digital.
Do you have a philosophy that you live by?
Well, honestly, yeah, actually I do. I say treat people the way you want to be treated, and it's not a religious thing. It's not, that again, I said corny before. It may sound corny, but people expect me to do my job. My staff expects me to take care of them, make sure their salary's there on time. My clients expect that the engineer is going to know what they're doing, and I expect my clients to give me the answers I need to make their session work properly. I treat them with respect. I have an old saying, which is no matter how much money you have and how famous you are, if you're an idiot, you're an idiot, and that goes in all aspects of life. Just because you have 1 million albums out doesn't mean that you can come in and start disrespecting my staff and treating my room like a Rolling Stones stay over at a hotel where the room is going to be destroyed because you have no respect for me. I expect you to respect my facility, and I'm going to make your session run smoothly, and that goes with everybody I deal with. I have a lot of experience, and I demand respect. But I also listen to what other people are saying because I don't know everything. And really, I expect people to act the way I treat them, which is with respect.
What do you do for fun?
I have kids, so one of the things that I really enjoyed doing outside of work was coaching soccer. I coached a club team for many years. And it had its enjoyable side, and that also had its non-enjoyable side. Registration, dealing with crazy parents wanting their kids on the field, but having the camaraderie of a team, and growing up watching my girls. It was a girls' soccer team, literally from U8 up to till the time that they went to college. Was just a fantastic experience, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. I like fishing. I don't do it as much as I would like. I've done a lot of camping. I like to think of myself as an outdoors kind of guy, and I don't do that as much as I would like to do. And I love going to see live bands play and shows, and networking with other musicians. That's obviously a very enjoyable part of my life. And friends and family.
What advice can you give to a young Tony Drootin?
Well, the industry has changed a lot since I started. There's internet and cell phones. It wasn't when I started. It was a completely different world. You can now record in a laptop where that wasn't feasible years ago. The record labels have changed drastically. The distribution model has changed drastically. Technology is changing everything. And I see, my daughters are in college. One of them is about to graduate. And my advice would be, first of all, to not be to learn the business and how the money is being made, so you can focus your endeavors. You can focus your energy and not waste time. While you're in school, do as many internships as you possibly can, so you can get exposure to the industry, and which will help you focus your attention even more. You'll see parts of it that you may love, you'll see parts of it that you don't like. You'll also build relationships that hopefully will be there when you graduate high school and college, because you can get high school internships as well. Once you've graduated, it's not a great playground out there. It's a very difficult job market, and you need to work hard to try to get a job. Sometimes you have to throw yourself at a situation and work for free and be a gopher and do what you need to do to get your foot in the door. I did. I worked very hard indirectly as a receptionist, working the overnight shift. It almost killed me, honestly. It was a really difficult thing to do. And I survived it, and I learned a lot doing it, and I built relationships doing it, and it really transitioned me. I never thought I'd be managing recording studios. I was always a musician, and I always dreamed of being in a band, and I really didn't know what that meant, honestly, when I graduated college. And it took me years to actually realize what I was wishing for myself may not have been the best thing for me. So when you're young, it's important to learn what you want to do, work very hard at doing it, try to focus on something. You never know, you're going to it's going to branch off. You may find something else while you're doing that, but you need to forge ahead and work very hard. The other thing is to think towards the future, I think, is extremely important with people breaking into the industry these days. I think everybody wants to be a rapper, everybody wants to be a pop artist, everybody thinks that they're a musician, and you don't think when you're young that you need to, when you get older, that you need to have a 401k plan, you need to have medical benefits, you may be supporting kids in a family. Your parents are going to be getting older, and you may need to be taking care of them. So what you think may be glamorous and a great career choice may not be. Just because you're seeing it on Twitter doesn't necessarily mean it's true and it's fun. So think about your future and try to make logical, educated decisions when you're young, because they're gonna be there when you get older.
Who helped you get here?
Well, a lot of people. I have to give. I have to thank my current partner, Roey Shamir. When I graduated college, I was loading trucks at UPS. I drove a cab in the Bronx, actually 2 different cabs. I was teaching drum lessons, swimming lessons, and a friend of mine who I grew up with was working at a recording studio. And even when I was at college, he was calling me up to do some drum gigs with some bands that were doing sessions at the studio, so I got some exposure there. And then when the receptionist opportunity opened up, he was the guy that called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to work at a recording studio? There's a great job opening up. It's a great place to get your foot in the door." I was literally working at UPS loading trucks midnight on the night shift on 44th Street, and I said, "Yeah, let me take the reception job," and that really gave me my start in the business, quite honestly. There's a lot of people along the way that helped guide me and that I learned from, and the list would be astronomically long, because there's been so many great people that I've encountered in my career that I can thank for advice, that I've looked at as role models and learned from. Engineers, producers, other studio managers. I have a great respect for my competition. That's another thing that I always believed in, which was we're not enemies, we're all in the same playground. But Roey really got me in this business, and I love him for it, and I'll never forgive him.
How do you sustain, build, and progress?
It's hard. You have to constantly rethink yourself. You have to constantly look at what you're doing and reevaluate what you're doing.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, the clients that I had 10 years ago, some of them aren't in the business anymore. So you can't count on what you're doing to be there in the future. You have to really be, and this is one of the models I learned at Sony, which was being diverse, having a number of different skills. Obviously, everyone is like, but as a recording studio and as a business, being a diverse business is actually good for you. If you can do various styles of music, we're not just pigeonholing ourselves into doing hip hop music at Daddy's house. I just got off a phone call before we started the interview. Someone wants to do a 5-piece chamber group, strings for a soundtrack. I've had jazz artists in here doing accordion, percussion, violin, flute. I had a gospel choir in here from a church recording the last 2 weeks, and we had Hammond B3 organ and a full band, a 30-piece choir, and acoustic violin overdubs. You know, and then at night, it's Waka Flocka, Wale, French Montana, you know, Uncle Murda, Wycliffe, you know, you name it. So being diverse and being able to transition from one style of recording and one style of music to another means that you have more pistons in your engine, and your engine, if you lose a piston, the other ones are all going to still be firing, so you have multiple music and clients in various genres approaching you all at the same time, or none at the same time, or hopefully some at the same time. So, you know, it's constantly building new relationships. It's constantly trying to do as much and a varied amount of services and offer as many services as you can, so you can broaden your income base, basically. You know, and that goes for engineers, and that applies to musicians as well. If you play a multiple style of music and you're a studio musician, you're going to get calls from all different styles of session work that is happening, and I think that applies to everything. I'm usually very accessible. You can contact me at Daddy's house at 212-757-0808. That's the main number. Area 51 is 646-290-5450. Usually that's the best way to reach me, or you can email me at Daddy's house. It's Drootin, which is my last name, at badboyworldwide.com. And Area 51 is Tony at area51nyc.com.